Visionaries are often celebrated for their drive, their ambition, and their ability to carry weight that others cannot. But behind that vision, many are quietly exhausted, dysregulated, and I would also say that disconnected from themselves. And tonight's conversation, dear listeners, is all about what happens when impact comes at the cost of inner balance and how that can be changed. So, hey, dear listeners, welcome back to another powerful episode of Mind Meets Machine, where we explore leadership, consciousness, and human systems in a world shaped by pressure, performance, and technology. This is a space for the leaders who want to build impact without burning themselves out. And our guest today, dear listeners, is please welcome Dr. Jacqueline Campbell. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Avik. I really appreciate you having me back.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And dear listeners, before we delve deep into our discussion today, I'll quickly love to introduce you with Dr. Jacqueline. So Dr. Jacqueline is a conscious leadership strategist, author, and a global keynote speaker. So she helps purpose-driven visionaries unlock the freedom, fulfillment, and also alignment by understanding and also working with their nervous system. So drawing from the lived experiences, neuroscience, and years of therapeutic work, Dr. Jacqueline teaches that it's not the life that we need to overcome to succeed, but ourselves, right? So in this episode, we are exploring how stressed visionaries can find the balance, regulate their nervous systems, and expand their impact without sacrificing well-being. So why to wait? Let's get started. Welcome to the show again.
Thank you. I love your introduction because it really sets the stage for what the impact is supposed to be. Because the impact that a lot of visionaries have, it's supposed to be for either the business or their family's legacy or for the world, and that sounds great, but it doesn't have to be at your own sacrifice. And a lot of them do.
Exactly.
So I think
Exactly.
you do.
Yeah. And to start with, right, Dr. Jacqueline, like you have worked with so many high performing visionaries. And I mean, when they first come to you, what is the internal struggle they are usually carrying beneath that success? I mean, if you can share. No need to take the name, but I mean, if you can share.
Well, there's always different levels of it. The first level that we see is that they feel very scattered. Their energy is pulled thin. And so they're having difficulty with stress. And that's just kind of like an umbrella term everybody puts on it, that it's stress. And, I can't cope with this stress, or there's too much stress. I feel like I'm burning out because I can't keep up with the stress, things like that. And what happens is once we start diving in, the nervous system actually starts to teach us, when we pay attention, what's causing the stress. A lot of times I think it's money. It's not. The money is a consequence of a problem that has gone unresolved. Whether it's too much money and now you're disappointed because you're a multimillionaire and you're not fulfilled, and you realize, oh, I was chasing the wrong thing, or you don't have money, or the business is tanking, or you're not able to pay bills. And so you think, well, if I have money, it will make it better. It doesn't.
Right.
Something is off internally. A lot of times it's our perspective. They're old filters that are actually creating our reality. So we're causing the problems in our own lives. A lot of that is old programming from childhood. Wounds you haven't dealt with, limiting beliefs, things that people have projected on you that you just think are real, and they're not. But because you assume they're real, even let's say, for example, you're talking about consciousness, a lot of people are not aware that they can, have something come in. Let's say you've been wanting this great job opportunity, and this job comes in and it offers itself to you. And you're like, oh, no, I can't do that because of X, Y, and Z. That's a filter. And you just sacrificed, or you sabotaged what you were calling in because you can't see it clearly. So we are actively causing a lot of the problems that are disrupting the reality that we're really wanting to have.
Totally agree. I mean, that gap between the outer achievement and that inner safety is something that many leaders do not, I'd say, don't know how to name that. Am I correct?
Right. And I love how you say that it's a gap. in
Mm,
safety because that's exactly what the nervous system wants is safety. But we tend to think because we're human that it's got to be
mm,
something external. It's not.
exactly. And also, when we're talking about this, I believe there should be a kind of common misconceptions also. Like, I mean, there's a belief that stress is simply the price of ambition. So from your perspective, like, why is that belief not only false but limiting for the visionaries?
So let me say it back to you. Tell me if I got the question right. So stress is goes with ambition. So like they're supposed to be together. Is that the question?
No. So I'm saying like people believe. I mean, people say that stress is somehow it is related with the ambition because if you are very much ambitious, obviously there will be stress. So what do you think? I mean, what is why is that belief not only false but also it is also limiting that limiting for the visionaries as well?
Right. So I completely get it. So a lot of people who are ambitious are actually chasing their dreams and their impact or their money or whatever based out of ego. That will cause stress. Ego is your
Mm,
false self. It's not authentic, it's not aligned, and it doesn't feel safe. So it can be
mm,
controlled by its own emotions, which they could be good emotions. You're still chasing them because when you're constantly wanting to be happy or excited or adrenaline, you're still chasing because of emotions. So it's still out of ego. A lot of people think of ego as just the shadow parts or our trauma. No, they can always insist on being happy, and that's causing problems too.
mm,
Well, what happens is when you realize that ambition, when you work on yourself, I mean, really self reflect, work on your wounds, work on your limitations, know the self, learn to manage your emotions. What you end up finding is ambition can get bigger, but it's chasing impact now. So the impact that you're wanting to have, maybe it is creating a family legacy. Maybe it's this invention that's going to change the world. Or
mm,
maybe the impact is you changing the trauma that's been passed down generationally. Whatever impact that is, that ambition, when you heal, can get bigger, but without the stress.
exactly. And like you speak often about the nervous system. So how do the unresolved trauma or maybe the early conditioning shape the way visionaries push, overwork, and also disconnect from themselves?
You said, how do they push, evolve,
Disconnect and
and
yeah,
disconnect? Okay, I want to make sure that I'm answering all your questions. So, can you say it one more time? I'm trying to remember all of
yeah,
the points.
yeah. So it's like how they I mean
How the
how
early
the
steps.
unresolved trauma shape the way that visionaries push, disconnect from themselves, and also overwork.
Okay. So
Yeah.
this is actually a hard one to convince a lot of people. So I
Mm,
usually just say it. The ones who hear it, because they have the ears to hear, they're completely bought in already that your childhood shapes the person you are and it programs you. This is the way that the brain operates. It's kind of like a computer where you download information, you have this
yeah.
blueprint now. So now you base every interaction, every belief, every habit that programming, if you do not deal with that, you're going to be pushing so hard that you're running into brick walls and you don't even realize you're the one causing them. You're going
Yeah.
to be so disconnected and isolated away from people, places, and things because it can isolate you from your own potential that you think you're not even capable. So these limiting beliefs that you have for inadequacy are completely false and they could have been embedded in your system when you were 5 years old because of something, and you don't even have to have actual trauma like physical, sexual, or violent trauma in your life.
Mm,
Our nervous system is actually timeless. It doesn't understand the difference between past, present, and future. So a lot of
correct.
times we're also living in the future, catastrophizing. Well, what if this happens? Or I can never do this because,
Yeah.
this and this is what's going to happen. And, you're making those negative beliefs create filters on your own reality without even just giving it a try. So the way that I deal with this with my clients, and in my speaking events is I
Yeah.
challenge people to really regulate their nervous system because it grounds our energy, which opens up our mind to all the possibilities, and then just what's most in alignment with you, right? This is actually
Mm,
gonna feel really good, but it's going to feel right. Like that's the state.
mm,
It doesn't just cause peace and joy and love. Like those are pieces of it, but it feels right.
got it. So, like, many people normalize the signals without realizing that they are living in a kind of constant activation. Um, in practical terms, right? In practical terms, how the nervous system dysregulation show off for the stress leaders. I mean, if you can share.
How do they show up? So the main one is you're constantly on some kind of screen, constantly scrolling
Yeah.
for individuals who are hiding. And a lot of times you're hiding from you because when you sit in silence, the nervous system starts talking and it starts bringing up all those things that it's like, I need to work on these. And then you just like, no, 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 we're not going to deal with that because that's a waste of time. Or
Right.
you end up getting bored. And so you start getting your body gets a little antsy, your foot starts to shake, or you start to kind of like look for something, or there's always signs, but the inability to sit still is the body doing that. So it's not the mind that's doing it, it's the body doing it, but it's the difficulty in just being. Well, the more you
Correct.
work on your childhood traumas, your attachment wounds, your unresolved limiting beliefs that are absolutely not true, then you get to look at reality for what it is and then make strategic decisions. Because
Uh,
another sign besides the mind ruminating, the body constantly wanting to move, is people move too fast. They get excited, they jump, they're impulsive and they're compulsive with their impulsive decisions too. They're constantly wanting to chase and go, go, go. And those individuals, they're not slowing down enough so that their body eventually it's going to either crash or they're actually making other people um
correct.
like they're dragging other people. Usually these are business owners or leaders who they're projecting their pressure that they're putting on themselves. So everybody around them is stressed because they will not slow down. So the
Got it.
moving too fast is another signal. Some other
Uh,
practical things that they'll notice is stress in your relationships. You don't want to deal with problems, difficulty sleeping, and compulsive habits that for some reason you cannot stop.
mm.
Hard.
Correct. Definitely. Like practically, I mean, the regulation and the balance, obviously. Like for visionary who is listening, who feels constantly on the edge, or maybe kind of, you can say, depleted, then for them, what will be the one grounded practice that helps restore the balance without showing their momentum?
Without
Anything you can share?
slowing. Right, and I appreciate how you say one because there's so many, right? Like, it can be overwhelming thinking to completely change every area of your life. It really is. So if you just start with one and implement that, and then once it's a good habit, then implement another. And then once that's solidified, implement another. Like, it's gonna take your whole life, so you have plenty of time, right? So the first thing that I would implement in somebody's schedule or their life is you have to go into the past and work on those issues, or else you're just taking them into the present, right?
Mm,
Once that starts getting cleared up, it actually organizes our nervous system to see the present more realistically. So let's say you don't exercise or you don't eat healthy or you can't find the right job, or if you're a business owner or a leader, you're projecting your stress all over everybody else, right? Like whatever the case in the present, if you work on the past issues to resolve them, those situations, it will start organizing them naturally. The priorities will start being highlighted. The things that aren't for you will start falling away, so you'll be able to disconnect from them easier. So implementing the other strategies that will help you move forward, it will be a whole lot easier because you're literally not carrying the weight from the past.
and that idea of safety creating expansion rather than kind of, I'd say, stagnation is a very major shift for high performers. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
And so once someone begins regulating their nervous system, so for them, how does that change the way that they lead, they create, relate to impact over time? Anything that you share?
So you said how when they start to regulate their nervous system, how do they lead, create, and impact,
Yeah.
right? So another great question, because when you change your nervous system, you completely change your identity. So
Yes.
by truly working on yourself, by balancing your nervous system, which actually for people who don't know what that means, a lot of it is mind body work. You have to do the deep seated healing in the body, energy work, healing on traumas,
Okay.
feeling your emotions, breath work, physical exercise, water, diet, all of it goes into it. But once you've optimized the system and you are a healthy and aligned and aware person, you are very, very conscious. So, what happens moving forward is we are magnificent creatures. We are
Mm.
so amazing. The human is the most complex, the human brain is the most complex thing in the entire universe.
Yeah.
And so you start to realize just how capable and powerful you are. We literally amplify electromagnetic waves from us, and we can sync our brain waves to other people and pick up on different ideas. And you start to gravitate. Because of that, we gravitate to specific circles. The awareness of your alignment increases so much that it's like things propel you. This is where things like the law of attraction come into play and energy psychology. And all of a sudden you realize, oh, the universe has my back, right? Or your creator, whatever you want to call it, it does have your back because you've optimized your system to hear it and to be able to be in alignment with it. So the way that they lead, when leaders optimize their nervous system, they lead with heart. You cannot
Correct.
be in alignment and have your nervous system decluttered and organized and be a conscious creator without leading in heart. It naturally happens because our bodies know that that's what needs to happen. So the brain kind of takes a back seat and you can start to lead with heart and you end up intentionally programming your brain with what you want now, which means you
Mm.
create your reality. You become a co-creator. You ask the universe for something and now you watch for signs and you only take the signs that are aligned with you. So you move forward so much faster. It's like
Mm.
the resources, the tools, the people, the opportunities, they literally gravitate to you, which completely changes your ability to impact so much more.
So for the listeners right now, I definitely love to ask, like, if and this is for the listeners also, like, so first of all, for the listeners, like, if your nervous system felt safe and supported, how differently might you pursue your vision? Please do share. I'd love to listen from you. And exactly, and what do you think? I mean, Jacqueline, like, what do you also say?
What would I say to the audience? Or what would my answer be to the question? What I've seen in the individuals that I've worked with, and I've worked with hundreds of people. I originally was in the mental health field and I thought I was just healing trauma. I had no idea how powerful we are as human beings. And you literally are in a human body right now if you're listening to this show, right? You are
Exactly.
amazing and you are a co-creator. But are you creating pain and suffering in your reality because of old stuff you need to get rid of? Or are you creating a global impact? Or are you creating a national impact? Or are you literally changing the course for your family because you're tired of living in poverty and you're going to be the one to change that? Because once somebody does it, everybody around them is affected, not only electromagnetically, because we can affect people, but also your brain waves. What you download in you is going to be amplified to the people around you. So your kids are going to see you, your family, your whatever, your parents, your aunts and uncles, your cousins, your grandkids. Those individuals are going to see that you changed. And so what happens with the mirror neurons in our brain is you just by being a conscious co-creator of your own reality, being in alignment, which brings peace, love, joy, and usually more money. And that's you don't chase the money, it comes to you because opportunities come to you. And so once you do this, people around you start to see it. The mirror neurons in our brain, they start to imprint the possibilities inside them. So you literally show people that there is another way. So who knows? I mean, there's the sky's literally not even the limit. Like you could do more because Elon's going to Mars, right? So
Yeah.
for me, it took me a long time to realize that the pressure that I felt was actually not going to go away. When
Mm.
I first set out to working in the mental health field, I was suffering from a lot of trauma. I was very dominant and masculine, and I didn't want to be that way. I was very cold hearted too. I went into the military and it just wasn't aligned to me. So I needed to soften and step into my feminine energy, which actually helped me balance my nervous system. So while I was working on myself, of course, working in the mental health field, helping so many other people do the same thing, the impact that I wanted to have, it wasn't just changing my life anymore. Then it
Exactly.
wasn't just changing the trajectory of my family anymore. Then it wasn't just implementing, or teaching my strategies to my clients anymore, who they are doing a lot of impact in the world, right? But there's another vision that's gotten more and more and more clear to me,
Hmm.
that there is a program that I want to create, and we're starting it this year, that will impact the entire nation and eventually the globe. But I couldn't see it clearly. And just for the listeners to know, like, this is something that I plan on legalizing, right? Like, that's a
Yeah,
huge thing to come from somebody who I'm like, I don't even know how to parent. Like, I needed to learn how to parent and manage my own emotions. You have no idea what's inside you waiting to be unleashed until you optimize your nervous system. You have no idea what kind of impact you can.
exactly. Exactly. And dear listeners, that I'd like to quickly summarize it. Like, the true impact is not just created by pushing, pushing, pushing harder, but just by leading from the regulation, alignment, and I would say the inner clarity, right? So that's really, really important. And before we move, Jacqueline, like, for those who want to explore your work, your books, or the conscious leadership teachings, where can they find you?
So you can go ahead and go to my website, drjacquelinecampbell.com. And the doctor's not spelled out, it's DR. And Jacqueline is JACQUELINE. Campbell is CAMPBELL.com.
Amazing. So, dear listeners, I'll put all the links and the details into the show notes for your easy reference. And with this hope, definitely, thank you so much for joining us on Mind Meets Machine. And today's conversation, I'd say, it reminds us that the most powerful leaders are not just the most stressed persons, but the most regulated.
I love
So,
that.
if something, exactly. Please, you were saying something.
No, I was just validating and affirming what you're saying. You were absolutely right.
Exactly. And dear listeners, like, if something resonated today, please take it seriously. And balance is not just a kind of luxury thing. It's the leadership skill, and which is what? Like, so thank you so much for joining, and with this hope, until next time, stay aware and stay aligned. Thank you so much.